The combine's over, but we're still looking at these running backs. These running backs blaze the track. We're going to be looking at their burst score. We're going to be looking at their speed scores to see how they stack up with each other. Look at their size, adjust athleticism. Not all the running backs ran, but we're primarily going to be looking at the guys who ran on the track here to see how their size, adjusted athleticism stack up with each other. And on top of that, all the running backs who've competed at the Combine and Pro Days. Click that subscribe button right now because we're deep diving these rookies every single day. We're helping you with your Dynasty rookie drafts, trying to figure out the values and everything else, especially for your trades. Click that button, stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching, don't disappoint him. We're going to start off just knowing the basics here, just in case you do not understand or have not heard of these terms before. So speed score, height adjusted speed score, that pretty much says that we're adjusting the time according to weight for that score. Think about it this way. If I'm 260 pounds, I run a 4.3 versus a guy that weighs 160 pounds that runs a 4.3. Who's more impressive? So it kind of puts things on a different level. You can look at the numbers and filter sort how you want to when you get everything on a sheet. On top of that, agility score, pretty much how they run laterally, short area quickness. Burst score is when you measure the long jump and the vertical together and average it out. That gives you your burst. Your burst coming out of the blocks, out of your breaks, how you are in the open field. That is very impactful for running backs. And also we'll look at how they rank versus running backs throughout time versus all the prospects. On top of that, we'll be also looking at their college dominator rating. That's another market share statistic. What I mean by market share statistic is the ownership rates of the yards and touchdowns in the offense. But this is from playerprofiler.com. It's data that we're looking at today is free. So all you have to do is type in the player's name and it'll pop up for you. But I pulled up the profiles today. We're looking at Skattebo. We're looking at Skattebo here. And we had a good burst score, 90th percentile. Didn't run on the track. But I said I was going to talk about the guys who ran, but I knew someone's going to ask. This is the one guy I pulled up that didn't run because I know he has a heavy market. You guys want to know about him. Good burst score. I did not expect him to run fast anyways. So it does not matter to me. He's still a good prospect. Hell of a dominator rating at 93rd percentile. Very productive. And then 95th percentile target share. Going to be used in the passing game. Rocked up solid. Good size. Good burst score. Everything's looking good here metrically. 40-yard dash time probably would have equated with an average speed score. That's fine, though. Average speed scores are fine, and that can get you being productive at the NFL level. And now we're looking at Tuten here. 4.32 40-yard dash. Fastest guy at the combine among running backs. A speed score up there. 98th percentile. 206 pounds. Productive at Virginia Tech. 38.3. College dominator rating, 90th percentile. A guy to be on the lookout for. A guy to be on the lookout for. 10.2 target share. Anything double digits, I like. That's my rule of thumb with target share with running backs. Anything double digits. 10% or more, I like. 9%'s okay and good. Okay and good. 5 or below, I'm kind of a little bit scared. 10.2%, looking good. Everything shakes out with him. We got good size. We might get more draft capital than expected, but if we fall in the draft, be on the lookout for him in your later rounds of rookie drafts. Montrell Johnson, 4.41 40-yard dash, 16.7% dominator rating though. Did not own a large share of the workload at Florida, 29th percentile among running backs. Target share, 7.9%. Burst score, 69%. We're above average athlete, above average speed, one of the fastest running backs in the class, one of the highest burst scores in the class, 212 pounds. So we're athletic enough to be productive and compete at the NFL level, but our market share statistics says, hey, the odds are against us. We would be a little bit of an outlier, but we are a running back. So if there's attrition in our offense, we might give you a little bit of something if we do get that opportunity. Omarion Hampton's that dog. He's that dog in the class. He's locked in for the first round. Might get drafted ahead of Ashton Jeanty. That's a hot take that some people like to throw out there now. But 11.2% target share, elite dominator rating, elite speed score, elite burst score, 221 pounds. You can't really get much better than what he's doing out there. Like Ashton Genty, what he did this year production-wise, but you don't have the times to add to it. We see what we see on the tape, and that looks good. That looks good, but honestly, when you look at it, you can't get much better than this for a running back. You honestly can't. Maybe at this size, we run the lower 4.4s. We've had running backs do that with similar production metrics. That has happened, but it's very hard to be a running back in the NFL and have better metrics athletically and production-wise than Omarion Hampton. He's almost like the robot running back. DJ Giddens is another running back. I'm very high on him. Very high on him. I'm pressing that DJ Giddens early second round in a lot of mock drafts right now. Everybody's throwing me in mock drafts. I'm obliging, and I'm hitting a lot of DJ Giddens buttons. And I told you that in the rankings video yesterday. Even though I had him in that tier, and I had guys all around him in that tier, he was the first guy drafted in that tier. The first guy. 4.43 40-yard dash. Speed score 91st percentile. Burst score 95th percentile. Dominant rating above average, but at 54th percentile. Still good. Still good. Target share's good. 76th percentile at 9.6%. 6 foot 212. We got good size. We got good speed. We got everything here. And you're going to get him at a good price tag in your rookie drafts. Quinshon Judkins is another robot running back. Another guy that scores damn near perfectly. This guy broke out early at Ole Miss, was productive, back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons, goes to Ohio State, and just make sure he has extra tread on his tires for his NFL career. Shares the backfield with another dog back there with TreVeyon Henderson. 4.48 40-yard dash at 221 pounds gets you a 91st percentile speed score. We're more athletic compared to most of the running backs in the NFL. 94th percentile speed score as well. We're up there. We are up there. Raheim Sanders, Rocket Sanders. 4.46 40-yard dash, 217 pounds. Good size, adjusted athleticism here. Dominant rating, 58th percentile. And a good target share, 9.1%. He was a Debbie darling a few years ago. He's got some talent to his game. He's got some thump. He's got some wiggle. He had some injuries in his career, some setbacks. We go to South Carolina. We're still productive there. A guy to pay attention to. A guy that you might catch on the cheap that might exceed expectations. He's got a good profile to him. He's a very interesting player in this year's draft that's being overlooked. That could surprise you once we get into training camp. RJ Harvey's one of my favorites. Very productive. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. 4.4 40-yard dash at 205. Still a 91st percentile speed score. Low 4.4s is good, especially when you're above 200 pounds. Good burst score, 89th percentile. This is a guy that has the production to his name. 96th percentile college dominate rating. Ownership of the touchdowns, ownership of the yards in his offense. He was a key component to what this team was doing on the field. RJ Harvey is a player to pay attention to. He's a guy to be drafting up. Second round, maybe he jumps up in the draft and goes late first round. Maybe that happens. But his production metrics, his profile says, hey, you better look at this guy. Jayden Blue was a big-time recruit coming out of high school. He did not fire at the college level to what his recruiting numbers were saying. He ran like a 10.94, 10.96 100-meter time coming out of high school, if I remember right. And if I did remember that right, I'm very surprised. But 4.38 40-yard dash, 5'9", 196, speed score 85th percentile. 4.38, less than a 4.4, but he's a little lighter in the pants. Speed score, likes you being above 200 pounds. Think about the running backs who scored big time in fantasy football. They're at least above 200 pounds. 196 is a little bit lighter, and a lot of these guys get lighter for the combine, and then they'll put their weight back on. That's one thing they'll do so they can run a little bit faster, but we got speed to burn. This is a guy that did not live up to his recruiting profile, but we did have some other running backs in the Texas offense. Target share, 11.3%. That's up there, 86th percentile. Dominator rating is a little low because we didn't fire. We didn't fire. I look for him to slip in the draft, and if he goes higher, it's because he ran that 4.38. Pay attention to him in the draft if he lands in the right situation. Jarquez Hunter is a guy that was productive at Auburn, a guy that turned out yards. 56th percentile dominator rating, 4.44 40-yard dash at 204 pounds. Got him a solid speed score. He's athletic enough to surprise you. He's going to be a late round pick in rookie drafts. He's athletic enough to surprise you if he gets the opportunity. That's what those numbers say. The tape says, hey, this is an underrated running back too. This is a guy that if he climbs the depth chart in training camp, if there's injuries in the season, he could be a surprise play. Damien Martinez is a running back alike. Broke out at Oregon State. Back-to-back big seasons there. Hit the portal. Top running back in the portal. Goes to Miami. You need to study the transfer portal. I've been hammering the table in the transfer portal all offseason long because it gives you some stories that you can look at for these players. Damien Martinez, 4.51 40-yard dash at 217. Still an 80th percentile burst score. Why? Because when you're bigger and you can rack up a little bit of speed, that's more inertia at the point of contact. Inertia at the point of contact makes you harder to tackle, makes you harder to bring down. However, if I was 200 pounds and say I ran like a 4.46, I'm not packing as much inertia. I'm smaller. So that size ratio matters. That's why the speed score is there. On top of that, 4.51 overall breakaway speed, not as high as some of the top guys in the class when it comes to 40 times, but the size adjusted for that's good. And we are productive with two different collegiate programs. The Dominator rating is a little bit lower on him. However, we've proven that we can transition from high school to college and from one school to another school. TreVeyon Henderson, one of the big guys in this class, has potential to get drafted in the first round. More than likely going to be a big-time second-round pick. Draw some strong DeAndre Swift comps. 4.43 40-yard dash. And his speed score is 79th percentile at 202. Doesn't make sense considering how fast he is. But that size at 202, we're a lighter 200 pounds. We're above 200 pounds, but not by much. But 79th percentile is still very high. Very high. Burst score, 91st percentile. We got breakaway speed. On top of that, when you look at the speed score and you look at the size, you look at that 40-yard dash time. We're at 4.43. We look at the tape. We see him pull away. We know what he's about. He's about catching those balls in the flat, being used as a receiving weapon, getting yards after the catch, getting yards in the open field, and being dynamic. The burst score on top of the speed, that's a dynamic playmaker right there. Target share, sharing the backfield at Ohio State, plus injuries being mixed in at Ohio State, that would be higher at a lot of different programs. That's something to note out there. Not worried about Dominator rating. Sharing the backfield plus injuries throughout his career, it's fine. I think his prospect profile is actually very good. Brashard Smith comes in, 4.39 40-yard dash, 194. 78th percentile speed score. There's not many guys under 200 pounds that's really productive at the NFL level. Just odds. And if you are, you're an outlier. So if you pinpoint a name, pinpoint the rest of the names. Pinpoint the whole list. And then do that with the other heights and weights and you'll get it. Burst score's low. Very low for a guy that's 194 pounds. 78th percentile speed score is still good. That is still very good. He's faster and has more kinetic energy at the point of contact due to speed and size than most of the running backs in the National Football League. A good target share, 11.7%. Former wide receiver. He's going to be a good money ball play in rookie drafts. Due to that, especially he goes to the right team. And the right team could change anyways 2-3 years down the road. Trevor Etienne was a big-time recruit coming out of high school. He never really fired, never really lived up to the name. And his brother gave him that name cachet as well, but still a big-time recruit. 4.42 40-yard dash, 76th percentile speed score, 5'9", 198, under 200 pounds. But it's fine. You can still be productive at that height and weight. It's just the odds of all the guys being under 200 pounds in this class hitting are not very good. But someone will probably do something with how good this class is. The thing about him, he really did not fire at the college level for him being a high-end prospect. Also having that Etienne privilege due to his brother, due to the name cachet. 34th percentile college dominator rating. 5.4 yards per carry. Target share is still a little low there. 60th percentile still, so I guess it's okay. But I don't know if you want okay, because okay doesn't get you good fantasy results, because you want your results on the top end. Trevor Etienne has some gusto, played on some big-time schools, SEC level back. Maybe a guy to look at later in your rookie drafts. Kaleb Johnson. A lot of people down on his size and just athleticism. One, if you watch the tape, you'll notice a bigger back that does not win by breakaway speed. Still, 73rd percentile speed score among running backs. 56th when it comes to his speed when it comes to the 40-yard dash. 224 pounds. Everything tests out good. College target share, 10.4%. Remember, he was like 4th on the team in targets last year, and the main target leader on his team had like 76 targets. That is very low. Nobody broke 100 targets. He was 4th in line on the team in targets, if not higher, if I remember right. And we have a 99th percentile dominator for Kaleb Johnson, 48.9%. High-end work rate. This guy can carry the load. The tape checks out. The numbers actually check out for him. A good between the tackles grinder. A guy that can be a workhorse back for his team. Tahj Brooks here from Texas Tech. 4.52 at 214. I'm more worried about that. Speed score's fine though. Everything's fine. Burst score's okay. Agility score 93rd percentile. They don't test much for the agility anymore. They just don't. However, 93rd percentile agility score means that we got lateral agility, means that we move side to side rapidly to make guys miss. Ollie Gordon, we've been paying attention to him. 226 pounds, one of the biggest running backs in this class. 6'1", speed score 66th percentile. Faster than most of the running backs in the NFL. 4.61, 40-yard dash. When I say most of the running backs in the NFL, most of the running backs have tested. Some of these running backs that are in this number, in that percentile range, are out of the NFL, so I am correcting myself there if you haven't already. Burst score low. The size is what matters here. Production score 86th percentile. Target share per size. 226 pounds versus a 9.7% target share, pushing 10%. That is something you want. Bigger running backs who can catch the ball out of the backfield. Why? Because bigger running backs aren't going to get pulled for smaller running backs if they can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's not a receiving weapon, but he's good at catching the ball out of the backfield. So they're going to keep him in. Because now, is he going to pass block? They're going to wheel him out. They're going to have less packages or more packages for him and less for the smaller back in that 1B role. Ollie Gordon's got some upside due to that. And everything here checks out for him being competitive at the NFL level. Marcus Johns, small school running back from Delaware. And the college dominator rating, even though it's at 61st percentile, is very alarming to me since he's from a smaller school, smaller size running back in a competitive running back class. 4.45 is fine speed-wise. Speed score-wise, not so fine. 58th percentile. That's why when I do a reaction video to the combine and I said this guy failed and it looks like he ran an okay time and I'm looking at the speed score. I'm looking at the speed score because that means the odds are reduced. I think the odds are more reduced due to him being a smaller school back and not being uber productive, but still burst score's good. Overall speed's good. So if he climbs the depth chart, he could be a sleeper for you in season. Woody Marks at 207 pounds, 4.54, 55th percentile speed score. We've proven we can transfer, go to a new program, and be productive. Burst score is good. Target share, elite here, 90th percentile, 12.4%. We can be a receiving weapon. That is something to look at in the back end of your rookie drafts, middle of your rookie drafts right there, depending on where he goes in the draft. I bet you he slips a little bit. I bet you he does, but it doesn't matter to me. I'd rather take the discount on him anyways. But when I look at the target share versus the size at 207, if he climbs the depth chart, this is a running back that could surprise you in fantasy football. Devin Neal, big-time producer, year in, year out. 85th percentile when it comes to production. Speed score, 53rd percentile. So we're about average when it comes to size-adjusted speed. Burst score is good. We're very explosive going through the hole. We see that on tape. To be able to rack up 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons and what we saw at Kansas, you have to hit hard on one of those metrics. It was the burst score. I'm feeling good about Devin Neal. I actually hope this rocks the stock a little bit so I can catch him on a discount. Corey Kiner from Cincinnati. We were productive. 33rd percentile, but counting stat-wise, we were able to put together some numbers. 4.57 40-yard dash at 209 pounds. Speed score's kind of low. He's a guy that's probably not getting drafted in a lot of rookie drafts unless he lands in the right situation. A player to pay attention to, though. Just a player to pay attention to. Just watch out for him. This is a huge running back class with a lot of talent. However, right depth chart, right situation, right attrition happening, he could land something for you. Jordan James. Someone asked why he wasn't in the rankings yesterday. Honestly, add 3 to 5 players to the rankings every week. That way, I refresh myself on those players. And those videos take about 6 hours to edit. 6 hours to film, edit, put together, make the thumbnail. So adding a bunch of players at once and getting it out promptly after the combine was not realistic for me. Like, I'd be still working on that video while I got other content to pump out. That's why Jordan James, if you want, I can put him in. But here's the synapses here. Fitter, 5'5", 40-yard dash, 47th percentile speed score, was productive this year for Oregon. 56th percentile college dominator rating, 205. Watch him wherever he goes. Just watch him. I think Dynasty stock-wise, it's going to be a little bit low, and he's going to be a good money ball play for you. 7.6% target share is not too bad, not great, but above average. So you got above average running back everywhere, and there's not a running back that tested that's below average. There's just not one in this class. That's the good thing to look at. Now we're looking at Kyle Monangai. I'm mispronouncing that name like crazy this year. 4.6 40-yard dash, 211 pounds, 43rd percentile speed score, but he's a dog between the tackles. That's one of those running backs that runs in a 4.6 but can be a dog between the tackles. When I look at 40-yard dash times, I don't get scared until I see a number pushing 4.7, 4.68, 4.69. I don't get scared. Speed score, I look at it, it's good, but I don't get scared of the speed until it's pushing 4.7. When you're at 4.7 at running back, especially wide receiver, it's almost no chance of being productive. Almost no chance. 4.68, you have a chance, but it's very slim. I don't think we see any 4.7 guys out there right now that's productive. I don't think we have one. 4.6 is fine. Speed is fine. Burst is lower percentile. Everything we see on tape, good vision, good power, good pop, very fluid athletes. Still a player to pay attention to. Dominator rating is very high. We can command an offense. That's where those traits come in, the dominator rating, if you want to look at that. What about his vision? What about this? What about what we see on tape? The dominator rating. If you're good at that stuff will come in on the dominator rating, because if you're not good at running the football, vision-wise, movement-wise, or anything else, power, they're not going to give you touches. They're not going to give you opportunities. They're not going to allow you to dominate their offense because you're not getting it done. He was getting it done. He was getting opportunity. That's why they were giving him the work. 5 yards per carry. Still a good running back prospect to money ball with in the back end of your rookie drafts. Ulysses Bentley here at Ole Miss. 15.9% dominator rating. Piss poor. 4.62 40-yard dash, 200 pounds. Athletic enough to compete. The profile's pretty bad compared to the rest of the running backs in this class. I don't see him getting drafted, and if he does, it's really late, so he's going to have a lot of competition in his backfield. He'll probably have another rookie in his backfield, and it's going to be hard for him to circumvent these odds. The odds are stacked against him. Notice I'm not saying he can't. It's just the odds are stacked against him, from target share to dominator rating to speed score to speed overall to burst to size. He doesn't win anywhere. Age is a little bit up there at 24 years old. He doesn't win anywhere. Like, the only way this could get any worse if he ran like a 4.68 to 4.7 range and he got no productivity whatsoever. He was on the field a little bit, got some productivity, but not enough to make it count for the NFL game and to really shine. If you're interested in Player Profiler and paying up for some of their services, you can get the all-in package with $25 off using code Bruce. They got a lot of data. I'm still sifting through it, learning it, but they got a lot of data that could help you out. I'll go over it on the channel here soon once I get acclimated to it. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.